it's time to begin the new era. Okay, welcome. As we begin, please turn off all of your electronic noise-making devices, please. And for those of you who would like to have a moment in the chapel back there, we offer that. And there's a little book in there. You can list your joys and concerns. And if you have little ones, we have a nursery downstairs. We also broadcast the service on closed circuit TV downstairs. It's in the social hall. And after the service, we do have a party. So you must come down there. And please look at the order of service for all announcements that are in there. Okay. So now we have a moment of a little word from Lori, our president of the board.
Good morning. And welcome. You know, all morning long, since I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning for some unknown reason, I've had a song running through my head. It's one of my favorite hymns here. Enter, rejoice, and come in. And I want to say that to all of you. Enter, rejoice, and come in. And then one of the other verses says, don't be afraid of some change. And that's what we're experiencing today, and I'm excited about it. Of course, we're still all feeling some loss, but when we change ministers, this is a natural part. We're going to feel a little loss. We're going to feel a little excitement and wondering, hey, what's going to happen? How's this going to go? So, enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. And I'd like to introduce our new minister, Reverend Bobby Valley. Reverend Bob is joining us from the Buffalo, New York area, and I feel very fortunate to have him here with us. He has an intriguing background, but I'm not going to tell his story. I'm going to let him tell his story. And I will let you know that the board, and for myself personally, I feel very grateful that we have a new minister here at South Valley, that we are not trying to do this on our own, but we have guidance and love and support from someone who has joined us. So, welcome, Reverend Bob.
Whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. No matter whom you love, how you speak, or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. You are welcome here whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears. You are welcome here. If you come here with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands, you are welcome here. And thank you. You really are welcome. Yes.
All right, I love ad-libbing right from the very beginning. Thank you so much, Judy. All right, let's sing our opening. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and sing our opening song, our in-gathering song, Love Will Guide Us, number 131 in our Trey hymn.
Love
I've been waiting a long time to say these words. Hello, South Valley. I drove a long way to say, hi, I'm the Reverend Bob LaValle. I drove 2,300 miles. And I'd like to add to the welcome that you just heard from Judith. So welcome to this church. You really are welcome here in all your identities and beliefs, whether you believe in God all the time, or some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. So bring your joy, bring your heartbreak, bring your weariness and your excitement. Come into this life-affirming congregation. So I'm serving this congregation as an interim minister. So some folks have called me the 10. As the name implies, the interim part implies, this year is a time of change and transition. Changes will show up in large ways and small. Obviously, I'm not Reverend Patty Willis. I'm not Reverend Willis, but I'm truly grateful for her ministry, which supported this healthy and loving congregation. You may also notice that our music director today is not Mary Lou Prince. We're delighted to have John Bergquist join us today. You also saw that we didn't use a song leader when we sang our first hymn. These are all examples of the way changes, large and small, are going to show up. But this year is not about change. In fact, the most important thing about this year, about this interim time, is that it's an opportunity for the congregation as a whole to reflect. We, as a community, will be spending our time asking ourselves questions like, who are we? What is this church about? What do we do well? What do we want to do better? How might we want to change? And I really look forward to these conversations that are going to take place over the months to come. And for today, we mark the beginning of the church year with a sacred UU tradition with water communion. It is good that we are here together. So come, let us celebrate. I invite you to rise in body and spirit to sing hymn number 1007 in our teal hymnal, There's a River.
chalice lighting, I have asked Liz Quigley to help me light our chalice. Okay, we are going to begin our water ceremony service today with an activity that I understand is a long-time South Valley tradition that we haven't done for a while. So some of you will know exactly what to do, and some of you won't. So please just watch me, and when I am walking in front of you, you will follow the actions that I am doing with my hands. And if you can't see me or my motion's high enough, just listen to the person to your right. So listen to what the person on your right is doing and follow them, okay? So it's not hard. There are basically 3 motions. One is going to be rubbing your hands together. Everybody can do that. The next one is snapping. Okay? And the last one will be hitting your lap. Very good. Okay. See, you guys got it. There's no problem. All right. We are going to begin.
It is our practice here at South Valley to split our worship service offerings with a charitable organization or program that aligns with our Unitarian Universalist values. For September and October, we'll be donating to the American Nepali Students and Women's Educational Relief. The acronym is ANSWER. It's always an acronym, right? A nonprofit, nonpartisan, non-religious organization that currently empowers over 600 low-caste children and youth by providing them 12 to 15 years of education all the way through college with careful academic and career counseling. Will you join me in saying the words printed in the order of service for our offering? We are this church. We are its hands, its heart, its voice. Together we share the wealth of this community and sustain it with our gifts. We'll now take up the collection for the work of this church and the work of this church in the community.
You have what you need. You're safe in your own skin, you know. Darkness, let it be you where the lights pour in. You're waiting for that sunshine, baby. Dreading concrete. Listen to the thought for them round those clouds again. Let me lift your bed down. Let me take away that. I wanna hold you high. Let you fly away, way above these troubles. Kisses from the sky, now your pain forgotten and your worth put aside. That bitter window, smell the breeze, taste the air, love your heart, weightless things, feel it blow away your care. Like old Mama Dream Girl, toast a tank, doll up in chrome, we look right around that lake this evening, let the moonshine guide us home. Whisper that you love me, nothing else is real. Wrap your arms around me, baby, eyes closed and help. Never will that be. Let me lift your burden and set your mind at ease. Your deacon preachers got you tied, useless knots. You lone girl, hold the key to spring locks. Know that love's the answer, every fiber of your heart. The God will smile upon you when your chains will fall apart. Let me lift your bed down, give it all to me. Not one to remember, and nothing but today. Shining, morning bright new. Dream again, my sweetheart. Will make it up. Let me lift your bed down. Give it all to me. Not one to remember, and nothing but today. The sun's warm. Shining, morning bright new. Dream again, my sweetheart. Will make it up.
relief, thank you for your gifts. And I say blessings on these gifts and the givers. I want to acknowledge the many ways that people offer gifts, financial gifts, but gifts of time and energy and talent as well. We're going to do a meditation and we'll move into a prayer. So I invite you now to find a comfortable position in your chair. Perhaps put both feet on the ground if that works for your body. Take a deep inhalation, let it out. Take another, exhale, make it noisy. So pick a hand, left or right or both even. And if it works for your hands, begin touching your thumb to your fingers, starting with your pinky finger, then your ring finger, then your middle finger, then your index, back to your pinky. And if you have difficulty touching your thumbs to your fingers, just head it in that general direction. And as you touch or reach towards your fingers, begin to say out loud, I am here now. 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 Now continue touching your fingers. Just say those words mentally. Say them to yourself. Okay, stop. Where are you right now? I invite you now into a time of meditation, reflection, and prayer. The theologian Howard Thurman talks about the centering moment, and I hope that this is a centering moment for you. On this first Sunday of the church year, we give thanks for this gathered community. May we find consolation and community, inspiration and guidance within these walls. We lift up all those struggling with illness, be it physical or mental, emotional or spiritual. May they all find comfort and healing. We lift up those who care for the sick, either as a vocation or in their homes and neighborhoods. Blessings on their work, and may the caregivers know that through their efforts, they bring love into the world. We lift up those who struggle with financial security and those who struggle to find work. May they know that they have a value that transcends dollars and cents. And may all who are hungry find nourishment. We lift up all those in prison, be they prisons of our system of mass incarceration, or ICE detention centers, or prisons of addiction. May all the prisoners find their way to freedom and justice. We give thanks for the troublemakers, the advocates, the organizers who put themselves on the line for the most vulnerable among us. May they find support and success. We lift up this country. May we find a collective imagination to create a future inspired by love. As we pray, let us remember that as Unitarian Universalists, we are explicitly called to work for a more just and caring world. The formerly enslaved man, Frederick Douglass, wrote, "I prayed for 20 years, but received no answer until I prayed with my legs." On this Water Communion Sunday, let us remember the ways that water and justice intersect. Let us lift up the people of Flint, Michigan, and of Puerto Rico. May they find justice. We pray for this blessed congregation. May the work of this Unitarian Universalist community be healthy in process and fruitful in outcomes. For these spoken prayers and for the unspoken prayers that we hold in our hearts, we summon our highest intentions and best energy. May they be so. And may we all be held in the heart of love. Amen, and blessed be. Today, we join in a tradition that many Unitarian Universalist congregations observe every year around this time. They mark the beginning of the church year with water communion. The tradition of water communion began at the Unitarian Universalist Women and Religion Convocation in 1980. The women who founded this service did this as a way to honor the emotions they felt as a marginalized group within Unitarian Universalism. It was about honoring the emotions. Although today more than half of UU ministers identify as women, that was not the case in the 80s. And in the 3 decades since then, water communion has become a common observance of Unitarian Universalist worship. Today we bring forth waters gathered from many places, near and far, new and familiar, humble and extravagant. The places from which these waters were gathered are part of the interdependent web of life, of which we all are a part. I brought some water from the Niagara River.
During the ritual today, these waters will join together in the common bowls here in the sanctuary. Everyone present today is encouraged to participate in water communion, no matter your age or your status, whether you're a first-time visitor or a long-time member, whether you brought water from near or far away. Pitchers of water are also available right here for those who have not brought water with them. This ritual uses water as a symbol of our connectedness as a people. Water is the same, whether it comes from a cloud, or the top of a mountain, or the bottom of the ocean. As we each pour out the emotional waters of our summer experiences, our streams flow together. Our joys and our sadnesses intermingle with our neighbors, and we move together, companions in the currents of life.
The winds of summer have blown us about, and today we return to this progressive community of faith where we draw sustenance to live out our faith in the world. Among us, there were many journeys this summer. Some of them were physical, some were mental, some were emotional, some were spiritual, and some journeys, probably most, combine some of these elements. Some of us here had experiences in July and August that gave us respite from our hectic and busy lives, leaving us feeling rested and renewed, ready to face the new year with energy and optimism. Some of us will pour out still waters of rest and renewal, and that is the bowl on the green cloth.
Some of us here were lucky to have experiences in July and August that elated us, that brought us times of gladness, events that lifted our hearts and lightened our spirits. Some of us will pour out shining waters of joy and happiness. That is the bowl on the orange cloth.
Some of us here had experiences in July and August that came near to breaking our hearts. Stormy experiences of such deep pain that we shed countless tears. Some of us will pour out waters of grief and loss. That is the bowl on the purple cloth.
Some of us here had experiences in July and August that saw large or small changes in our families, in our work lives, in our relationships. There were changes that brought disruption or discomfort, or simply changes signaling a new beginning. Some of us will pour out the rushing waters of change and transition, and that is the bowl on the plaid cloth.
As we prepare to come forward and pour our water into these common bowls, let us take a few moments to reflect on our summer experiences. Decide when you wish to pour out the water that you have.
Will you share waters of rest and renewal, joy and happiness, grief and loss, or change and transition?
You may want to divide your water and pour more than once. And I invite us to bring our respectful and compassionate attention to those who come forward as the water is shared. Do so quietly, reverently, and with respect for those around you. Notice who shares at what point, which bowl they pour their water into. And later, I invite everyone to gently ask one another about their similar experiences. By doing so, we care for one another as a beloved community. Please join with me in the spirit of unity. Reflect for a few moments on the summer months and the experiences that came upon you. In a few moments, you'll be invited to come forward and quietly join in this communion of water. From the silence, blessed be. Just doing rest and renewal right now. Just rest and renewal. Take another chance for the other cup. It's okay. So we're just pouring into the rest and renewal bowl. You'll be called up one at a time by the Croatian motion. I invite you now to come forward and pour out shining waters of joy and happiness, if you haven't already. invite you now to come forward and pour out storm waters of grief and loss. I invite you now to pour out rushing waters of transition and change. From the gathering of these waters, we now unite them in one common vessel, knowing that here in this community, though we come from many paths, many backgrounds, many sets of experiences, we carry with us the entirety of ourselves, and we join here in covenant with one another.
ocean joined with lake, river with brook, these waters of rest, joy, grief, and transition are, together, the tears and the balm of our community. They tell us that our story is continually flowing together to this place, to this moment.
In the spirit of the story of this gathered community, we join together with these waters and the waters of ages past, waters from near and far that connect us with those who've come before us. As this water was gathered from the common bowl this year, it will be gathered again this year, enriched by the experiences of this community. Should the occasion rise, this water will be used in rites of passage, baby dedications, blessings, and transitions of life that call for such wonder.
The remainder of this water will be carried out front. I'm looking for some helpers to water our tree. The water gathered here will be given back to that interdependent web of which we are a part.
I invite you now into a moment of reflection. And for folks who can't see the bowls, I just wanted to explain that the Rest and Renewal Bowl is about a quarter full. And joy and happiness are pretty full, as are grief and loss. And change and transition is overflowing. Take a moment to consider these things. Blessings on our common streams, may they flow together. I invite you now to rise and body your spirit for our closing song, How Could Anyone, number 1053 in the Teal hymnal. In the end, it won't matter how much we have, but how generously we have given. It won't matter how much we know, but rather how well we live. It won't matter how much we believe, but how deeply we love. Our worship is over, our service begins. Go in peace, gentle people.